Many Voices, a meditation for Wednesday, 25th of March. A reading from 1 Kings chapter 19. At that place he came to a cave and spent the night there. Then the word of the Lord came to him, saying, "What are you doing there, Elijah?" He answered, "I have been very zealous for the Lord, the God of hosts, for the Israelites have forsaken your covenant, thrown down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. I alone am left, and they are seeking my life to take it away." He said, "Go out and stand on the mountain before the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by." Now there was a great wind, so strong that it was splitting mountains and breaking rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire a sound of sheer silence. When Elijah heard it, he wrapped his face in his mantle, and went out and stood at the entrance of the cave. Then there came a voice to him that said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" I'm looking down my garden, enjoying the quiet. In a few minutes I must go and make some phone calls. I know that there will be very many. Everyone I phone will have their own viewpoint, including me. Some seem very sure of their position, confident. Some will be frightened. Others will be open-minded. Thank God for all the different opinions. Most will be trying to say something, convince the rest of us that it'll be all right, as long as we do what they say. So many voices clamouring for attention, not only on phone calls, but all the time. How do we hear God's voice in it all? The problem is, God doesn't usually shout. He's not strident and aggressive, as many of his followers are. He doesn't scream over the shrill noise of opinion and argument. Not for him the insistent hand clutching my arm, nor the body standing in front of me blocking my escape. He's more likely to stand quietly and wait patiently until I turn to him. And when he gets through to me, it's usually with that exquisite courtesy that Mother Julian of Norwich experienced almost 600 years ago, which leaves me free to choose or reject. I still need to hear that voice, though to recognise it in the clamour, to know with some assurance that it is his. Yet it isn't always clear. Sometimes, when I look to him, I suspect God just smiles at me, still with that gentleness and courtesy, and says, "But what do you think? You're grown up. You've got a mind of your own. You decide." It's sometimes frightening, this freedom, but it makes me grow. Makes mistakes. I do make mistakes. If they're made in good faith and not out of stubbornness or tantrum, God works them in good. One more thing. I have a strong feeling that it's not as difficult to identify God's voice as we sometimes make out. The problem is that we pretend not to hear it, even to ourselves, because we don't want to do what he's asking us to do. And at this time, when we are forced to remain in our homes, we've got that opportunity for stillness, for quietness. And perhaps it's a good thing, and perhaps we should not seek so much to fill the time as to let the time fill us. Lord, so much noise, so many words, voices struggling for my mind, insistent, clamorous, voices offering quick cures for old ills, trapping me, ensnaring my thoughts, in thickets of uncertainty, oceans of opinion conflicting, bottled messages floating on waves of sound, anonymous, indecipherable. Words echoing, reverberating, bouncing off the walls of my life, sliding down in untidy heaps, to be tripped over as I stumble towards the light. No time for quiet. I need help, Lord, to sort through this jumble of opinion, where everyone is right and claims revelation, world copyright exclusive. Sometimes, Lord, I wish you'd shout, grab me, shake me, make me listen. But then you'd be like all the others, muddied with much talking, indistinguishable. Lord, when I think about it, how else would you speak but in a still, small voice? Your love doesn't compel or overemphasize. You wait in the corners of my consciousness with exquisite courtesy, endless patience, loving gentleness. But with that courteous, gentle patience you strip away the pretense, my self-deluding protests, that says, I hear no voice. I hear it, Lord, more often than I want to. I'm just not ready for what it asks. Forgive me. So go into the silence that this time is offering and hear the voice of God reassuring us, as Julian of Norwich heard the voice of God. All things shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. Amen.